Okay, is this it? Are we live? Let's see. I think I am. I think I'm live. I can see myself on Odyssey. Not quite yet on YouTube, but we'll get there in just a second. We'll get started in just a second here. Yeah. Appears to be good. Hey, what's up, Doug? Nice to see you. Hey, pickle jars for Hillary. I remember that. That was a good meme. What's up? What's up? Glad you all are here. See, Rumble hasn't started yet, and but Odyssey is going. No one's watching it there, but at least it's live. And I did try to do Twitch as well today. I don't know if I did it right. We'll find out afterwards. All right, 20 more seconds, one more sip of coffee, and then I'll get the thing going. All right. Oh, that's some good coffee. Okay, come on. All right, let's go. Hey, welcome to the Coffee and Nuance Show. Today is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. I've got a fantastic show for you today. Uh-oh. Getting an error. Keyframe frequency is set wrong. Not sure how to do that. What I need in my life is like a homeschooled teenager that can figure this stuff out for me. But I'm just stuck with me. So hopefully the stream is working, and I will work on fixing the keyframe frequency to 4 seconds or less, whatever that means. First, I'll have to look up what that is. Don't even know. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. Tuesday the 10th of January, 2023. Number of topics that I want to get to. And I think you're going to find a lot of interest in these. We're talking about Russian influence. And a new story dropped yesterday from the Washington Post. That's going to be the main story that I'm going to talk about. Next, I'm going to talk about a natural gas ban for new houses. A trial that's starting today. And lastly, digital license plates. Yes, that's a thing. And who could have guessed that they've been hacked? So let's get to the big story, though. Russia. You can see this is my social media handle. I'm still working on the graphics because I don't think that says Coffee and Nuance. Not sure what's going on there, but we'll get that fixed. But let's talk about. Did I not have? Apparently, I don't have a Chiron for that, so let's turn that off. Or there we go. Russia, and we'll just turn that off. How's that? Nope, that didn't work. Now I got some real odd stuff happening there. Let's try to fix it. Okay, it'll be. We'll just have the date. There we go. Russia. This is going to come as a shock to no one that's been watching my channel. But a new study from the NYU Center for Social Media and Politics has found that Russia's efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election via Twitter were largely ineffective. I know, shock. Reaching only a small percentage of users and having, quote, no measurable impact in changing minds or influencing voter behavior, unquote. The study found that only 1% of Twitter users accounted for 70% of the exposure to these accounts, identified as Russian troll accounts, and that highly partisan Republicans were exposed 9 times more posts than non-Republicans. But the study also found that content from news media and U.S. politicians was much more prevalent than Russian influence content during the election, and there was no impact on political attitudes, polarization, and vote preferences and behavior from the Russian accounts and posts. Wow, my mind is blown. Where have I heard this before? Where have I heard this before? We'll get to that. But this was the Washington Post article yesterday that outlines what we all knew for so long. You know, one of the things that happens is you may have an opinion about this that, you know, is not mainstream, and you share it with someone, and they say, oh, if that were true, I would know about it. I would hear about it in my my news feed. I would hear about it. Well, here it is, the Washington Post. You can share it with people. They're not going to read it. You know, if they're a New York Times person, they're not going to read it. But now, finally, they're coming around to admitting that this Russian bots, the Russian influence thing was just that. Nothing. It was nothing. But where might have you seen this before? That's right, me. I did a John Oliver parody about this topic. Let's see, what was the date? August 16th, 2018. I talked about this. This was the video that I put up. I dressed up. I did lots of editing, spent lots of time, didn't get a whole lot of views. But what I said here, this is from that video. 3 million tweets from Russian bots have been published by Nate Silver's 538. That's a legitimate source, right? Mainstream media is ignoring this story, which is critical of the entire Russia narrative. To better explain the entire Russia hacked our election narrative is just a bad conspiracy theory, I decided to make a parody of Last Week Tonight's John Oliver. I tried to write jokes in his style and parrot his delivery without doing a bad accent. This would really be an interesting story that someone in the mainstream media could do. It shows the state of journalism that a random guy in Portland's reporting on the publishing of these Russian bots. Yeah. And so what I did with this original article from Nate Silver is they published 3 million Russian troll tweets, and here's what they found. They found that there wasn't a whole lot of politics in it. And what I did for my little parody video, I downloaded all 3 million tweets, and I numbered them all in a spreadsheet, and I pulled a random number generator, and then I would just randomly pull different tweets to see how influential they were. And it turns out almost none of the tweets that were supposedly, Russian bots, hardly any of the tweets were even political in nature. They were just random nonsense. I think I did a pretty good job in this video years ago debunking this claim based on actual evidence. But, it didn't get very far. What was interesting about this video that I made, I went to find it this morning, and I did some searching for it, and guess what? I couldn't find it. In fact, here is a screen recording of a search on Google for the exact title, and you can try this yourself. I put in John Oliver's Last Week Tonight parody on Russian bots. That's what I put into Google. Google owns YouTube, okay? I put in the exact title of my video, to find it. And yeah, let's check this out. Now, I did not a great job of scrolling a little too quickly, but here's all the results for the exact title of my video. And what you see is there's 4 pages of results on the videos tab. That's where you would look for videos. And my video isn't there. Wow. You would think that Google, who owns YouTube, would be able to find a YouTube video if they were given the exact title of it. But apparently, it's not there. Go ahead. I invite you to do it for yourself. Try this for yourself. After the video, leave it in one of the regular comments. I have a hard time replying to the live comments. I can reply to the comments that you leave after the live stream a little better. But the name of the title, the name of the video here is John Oliver's Last Week Tonight parody on Russian bots. Done by me, Tom Coffey. And Google does not find it in all of their results. You can go through all the results for Google on their video tab. It doesn't exist. And perhaps Google's just not very good at their search engine. Do you think maybe that's the issue? Do you think maybe Google's just not very good at finding results for videos on their own platform? Yeah, you think so? Interesting. But that's probably why, I'm not even going to speculate, but it is very interesting, my video on this topic that the Washington Post finally got around to talking about years later. Can't even find my video. I find that suspicious. Do you find that suspicious? What do you think, YouTube? Good to see you back. Hey, Zen. Yeah, CIA and FBI influence is what the real issue is. That is the real issue. Thank you, Pickle Jar. But again, I invite you. Search for my video that I made August 16th, 2018 about Russian bots. And you just can't even find it. In fact, if you just search regular Google and you put quotes around it, it will come up as a Facebook post. The video will come up on Facebook. The video does not come up on YouTube. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. But that is the main story. The gist of this Washington Post article is essentially, what I said years ago. It was the tweets of these Russian bots were not necessarily even political in nature, most of them. There weren't many of them. They didn't spend a whole lot of money on it, and they really had no influence. And now, 4.5 years later, Washington Post agrees with me. They finally agreed with me. So perhaps now that this is real, perhaps my video will appear in the Google results in the future, But I'm not holding my breath on that. On that one. Let's go. So, Next story that I want to talk about is this natural gas ban. Click here. There we go. This natural gas ban. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission is considering a ban on natural gas stoves, which are used in approximately 40% of American homes, due to concerns about harmful indoor air pollutants they emit. These pollutants include nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and fine particulate matter, have been linked to respiratory illness, cardiovascular problems, cancer, and other health conditions by the Environmental Protection Agency and the World Health Organization. And those organizations, just the name of them alone, Environmental Protection Agency, they're protecting the environment. And the World Health Organization, they care about the world's health. You can tell by their name. Consumer Reports has also urged consumers to consider electric stoves due to high levels of nitrogen oxide gases emitted by gas stoves. The plans are to open for public comment on the dangers posed by gas stoves later this winter, and will consider options including a ban on the manufacture or import of gas stoves, setting standards on emissions from the appliances, and requiring warning labels, range hoods, and performance standards. Well, that's interesting, and that is not what I have heard about this. Here in Oregon, we've actually had 2 cities that have just banned natural gas for new construction. And that's not just for cooking. That's even for heating. My house is heated with gas, and I had always heard, right, was that gas, natural gas, was way more efficient, way more energy efficient than electricity for heating. Now, maybe this has changed. I don't know. But I'd always heard it was much more energy efficient natural gas for heating. And it looks like they're going to, I'm guessing here, but they're going to use the idea that cooking with gas could be dangerous. So therefore, let's get rid of all gas altogether. That's what they've done here in Oregon. I know in my county, in Multnomah County, there have been proposals to eliminate natural gas by a certain year. They're already doing away with diesel in this city. I have a diesel car, and it's tough. There's not many places I can even go anymore. One of the Costco's used to have diesel, and they stopped carrying it. But they want us all to be on a switch that is easy to turn off and turn on. Perhaps. I'm just speculating there. But I think that they are going to conflate the cooking with gas and saying that it's dangerous so that they can bring in these new environmental rules to do away with all natural gas. And by the time everyone figures it out, it's going to be outlawed. That's my prediction. Check back in a decade and find out if that was true. Now, next I want to talk about the Proud Boy trial that is starting today. And it was very interesting. This story was from the Philadelphia Inquirer. My summary here. Zach Rell, the president of the Philadelphia chapter of the Proud Boys, and 4 other leaders of the organization are facing charges of seditious conspiracy in relation to their involvement in the storming of the U.S. Capitol January 6, 2021. Justice Department alleges that Rell and other defendants, who include Henry Enrique Tarrio, Ethan Nordine, Joseph Biggs, and Dominic Pizzola, had a detailed plan to incite Trump supporters to attack the Capitol in order to disrupt the certification of the presidential election results. Rel, who was arrested in March 2021, has maintained there's no evidence of any such plan and that he and other defendants are being unfairly targeted. The trial is expected to last for 6 weeks. That doesn't seem to be like a speedy trial, does it? He was arrested March of 2021, and his trial is now in January 2023. He's been in jail that whole time awaiting trial. And his claim is there's no evidence of such a plan. Now, we'll have to find out what is being presented in court. But typically, we wait. We're innocent until proven guilty in this country, especially if you haven't seen any evidence of anything. Now, I know that there's no evidence that he did anything disruptive inside the Capitol, didn't damage anything, wandered around a bit, and he's been in jail awaiting trial for nearly 2 years. Even if you are not a fan of that organization, and I understand, most people probably aren't. But sitting in jail and you claim that there's really no evidence of this, it'll be really interesting to follow up on this and find out what evidence did they have. And if it turns out there was no evidence, what do you think about a government that holds people for years without a trial, and it turns out that there was no evidence? This is tough. This is tough. I've been through this myself. I've been arrested before, a couple of times. I've never been found guilty. But I was arrested, and I had to wait to go to trial. Cost me a lot of money. And in the end, I was found not guilty, and the entire jury afterwards said, why are they even having this trial? That was totally BS. The judge even told me that the prosecutor was an a-hole. He said this in court to me and apologized that I had to go through that. But what I went through is nothing compared to 2 years sitting in jail. I was in 36 hours or something. But that's really something. Now, if it turns out that the Proud Boys had this big elaborate plan and they can present evidence to show that the entire thing was organized and they have all of that, well, then that's a different story. But we'll just have to see what happens with that. And lastly, let's talk about digital license plates. Security researchers were able to gain super administrative access to California's Reviver, the company behind the state's digital license plates, according to a blog post from researchers. The breach gave the researchers access to track the physical GPS location of all Reviver customers and change a section of text on the bottom of their license plate for personalized messages to whatever they wished. Reviver, which is the sole provider of the digital plates and claims the plates were, quote, legal to purchase in a growing number of states, said the issues identified by the researchers were patched within 24 hours, and there's no evidence that the vulnerability has been misused or that customer information had been affected. Yeah. Because that's what hackers do once they steal all the information that they collect on large databases, is they tell the company, oh, by the way, we've stolen all of this. Yeah, they don't do that. So just because they claim that, yeah, we've patched it and there's no problem there, I'll believe that in a couple of years if it turns out to be true. But who thinks that this is a good idea? A digital license plate. Apparently it costs you a fee every month to use it. I guess one of the fun things is you're able to change a little slogan underneath for some customized messages. So here it says reduce, reuse, recycle, but I think you could change it, and if you were say go Trailblazers or whatever it happens to be that you're into. It's like $30 a month for a digital license plate. Now, I would like a digital license plate if I could have a button on my dash that could turn it on and off. So as I was approaching a speed camera or a red light camera, that I could quickly turn off my license plate. Well, that would be a service that I would want to pay for. I still don't think it's worth $30 a month. But that would be something that I could consider. But just to have a fancier license plate that is definitely going to get destroyed if you get in a fender bender, and that the company can track your GPS wherever you go, yeah, not a fan. That's not a good idea. I don't know anyone that thinks that's a really good idea. I mean, do you? I know they can track us anywhere we go with our phones anyway. But do you want to give another company to set up another database where they track where your car is at all times? That's a future that will probably happen, and it'll be one more thing that we can add to the list of things that I think are a bad idea. Okay, let's see. But as I have shown with my video from a couple years ago, it's really hard for people to find my videos. And I don't think that that's by chance. Now, I decided this year to start live streaming because I thought maybe live streaming would somehow get around the algorithm or get around being censored. It was funny because yesterday I talked about how, speaking about a certain thing that took place in a big country in South America, that was being censored by YouTube. And it turns out that my live stream got very, very few views. I had like 30 views at the end of the day, which was less than a tenth of what my video did on Friday. So it makes me think, by even putting that in the title, that maybe they didn't send out notifications for that. But just so you know what I'm trying to do with this channel, I'm trying to get better, right? And it's going to take a little time. I appreciate you joining me on this adventure to become a better thing, to be a better broadcaster. But I am going to be live streaming Monday to Friday at noon on the West Coast, 3 o'clock on the East Coast, every day, at least this month, so I can figure out how this whole thing works, to give you something to look forward to have a time that you can tune in. And so even if you don't get the notification, try to see if you can get to my live stream when it happens, and hopefully we can build this channel to be something greater than it is right now. I appreciate everyone that's watching right now. Please do me a favor and hit that like. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Peace.